Hey everybody, it's kind of a slow day here in real life, so I thought I'd come down to the weird shop and show you how to keep making beehive equipment. So I have a couple boards here, some plywood, and a couple pieces of scrap. All this is going to combine to turn into the bottom board for a beehive. I'll show you how easy it can be. All this stuff is cut-offs, or this plywood here I've recycled from somewhere. So I'll try to take you through the steps and show you how to make your own beehive bottom board. Okay, so like before, we're using Tony Pisano's book, Build Your Own Beekeeping Equipment. And it's actually one of the first parts of the book. Is he has plans to make a salad board and a screen board. This will be your salad board. I do use primarily screen boards. I don't have a ton of beehives really, but I like the screen boards, but those are a little bit more complex. I'm going to do a different video on those later. And for that, I actually don't use Tony Pisano's plans. I use Michigan Beekeepers Club's plans. Anyhow, this is the plans, and you want to get to where you have two pieces that are 22 inches by 1 7/8 inches, and then you need a piece that ends up being 15 1/4 by 22 inches. A couple things before that is, if you have a repetitive cut, let's see how that's going to show, 1 7/8 inches. So I know from this to this cut is 1 7/8 inches, and this saves a lot of tedious measuring. Also, pieces like this is throwaway scrap. I keep these. I use them to test the cut, make sure it's right, or I might test the dado with it. But even if you make a mistake in the wood shop, you're still making something because you're making firewood. So I use this till it's not usable, and then it goes over into the firewood bin and turns into kindling. So step one here, we've got to make some cuts on that plywood. It's a little bit off shaped, so we have to get it down to 15 1/4 inches away. We're trying a new camera angle here, but like I said, this piece is a little bit off shaped and weird. So I found a straight edge because that's the factory edge, and I made myself a mark 15 1/4. And what I'll do there is I'll just freehand that cut, and then these both need to be cut 90 degrees to the straight edge as well. So we'll come back when we have that. Okay, what I ended up doing was this plywood, being a piece of scrap wood, didn't quite meet what I needed. So I took some old scrap cutouts and I ripped those to 2 inches. And then, knowing that this piece wanted to be 22 inches, I didn't try to make a math problem out of it. I made this piece 18 inches. So this is more or less what it'll look like, and there'll be a strip on the back. So what I'll do now is I need to cut the dados into the sides. So the book has you cutting 3/8 inch, 3/8 inch deep dados, 3/4 of an inch down from the top. So somewhere. So this is my handy dandy measure stick. This will help me set the depth for the dado, and then I'll just use a piece of board between the fence and the dado blades to set my 3/4 inch down. So I'll show you a little bit of that when I get everything changed around. So I've got the dado blade installed, and to set the distance from the fence, I don't have to measure anything. Just take a board that's 3/4 and you're set. Don't make everything a mess. Sometimes I find stuff I forgot I had. Here's 3/4 inch wide by 3/8 inch spacer, which is what I needed to set the second depth. Okay, dados are complete. You can see That's where the groove will sit. This is the top of the board. The board will sit here. Next step, we're gonna put it all together. I have some of these nails. They're actually aluminum spiral nails. I got them at the Habitat for Humanity Restore. You can use screws, brads, nails, staples, really whatever you have. I'll put a little bit of glue in there, and then I'll just nail it. The nails will be primarily to hold till the glue stops, or till the glue dries, I should say. Okay, got the boards in. Did have a little bit of a hiccup here as I started to nail the end pieces. It wanted to split, so I stopped and started to drill them before I nailed them, but no big deal. Always remind yourself this is for bees. Bees are not going to care. So the last step before paint's the final step. You only want one entrance, so you have to pick one end or the other. And I keep scrap of all sizes. And you would put this filler, and then this forever becomes the back of the hive, and that becomes the front of the hive where they come in and out. The boxes will sit up on this. This will become the back. And on this, Tony Pisano says to not glue it, but to nail it from each side, and that way you could pull it out one day, but why would you ever need to pull it out? Glue it, staple it, whatever you want to do. So that was how to build a solid bottom board, following the plans in Tony Pisano's book, How to Build Your Own Beekeeping Equipment. So I hope that you go out and do this. It's not hard, and if you don't have the tools, maybe you have a friend that does. But go out there and give it a shot. Even if you make a mistake, you still made some firewood. So had fun making the video, and I hope you find this useful.